Hello my friend, I hope you're doing well. I want to introduce these new types of videos that I'll be doing from now. In these video series, I'm going to be bringing in entrepreneurs from all types of different businesses, entrepreneurs that have just started out on their journey or maybe a few years down their line. I want to be able to give them a platform where they can come and talk about their stories and their journeys and how they overcome the difficulties and challenges and then the sweetness of being an entrepreneur and being a business person and being in business for yourself. If you're an entrepreneur yourself and thinking about is there a community out there or people out there that are doing the same, then I'm here to tell you that there are. And it's my mission to go out there and find these people and get their stories out there in front of people just like yourself who's thinking about starting your own business or want to get on that journey and really pursue your dreams and passion. So bringing in these people, talking about their stories, I hope you get value from this. And if there's a certain type of person or certain type of business that you want to hear about, please do, write some comments below this video and let me know. And I'll do my personal best to go out there and get those people and have a real, authentic, genuine conversation about what it is that makes them entrepreneurs, what are the challenges they face, and how is it that we can learn from them, and what can we learn from them. So I hope these videos, inspire you, inform you, and give you the information or, perhaps even the push to go out there and pursue your own dreams. So until I see you again next time, enjoy this video, and I hope to see you on the other side. All right, we have a really special one for you today. I have my dear friend Shenan who just joined us today, and we're going to talk about something really cool. Shenan is a coach, a transformational coach. He's been a successful coach for the last, I think 3 years. 2 years. 2 years now, and personally, I've known him. We've done some work ourselves together, and it's just a really great person to talk about all this good stuff. So I'm really excited that he's here with us. And without further ado, I'm just going to let Shenan talk a little bit about himself. So Shenan, tell us. Who is Shenan? What do you do? How do you do it? What makes you?
Who is Shenan? That's always been a difficult question to answer for me because it's always evolving as life goes on. But if I was to define myself today, I would define myself as somebody who is curious about life, curious about people's passions, and just loves people. Like I get really lit up when I talk to people around what they want to do and what their dreams are and what they want to create in the world. And so reflecting that back to me, I mean that's a huge part of my life right now. So that's what I would describe myself as.
That's awesome because our audience is just that. It's people that want to wake up, people that want to get lit up by what's inside. So this is great, and the conversation that we're having is just around that. How do we make the most impact in people's lives? How do we bring people to think about what's new, what's out there, and what are the possibilities that exist out there that anyone can avail and just go for. So the work you do, I've known you personally myself, so I know that the work you do is really impactful and powerful, which is great. And the way you describe it is perfect. So I know you talked a little bit about what your passion is as well. So tell me what passion means for you. Like, you do this work, you love it, obviously you love it. What does passion mean for you in terms of the work that you do?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm going to start by saying, a few years back, around 2012, I didn't even know what passion was. Right? I had a different meaning to it. I had a very closed meaning to it, and I didn't relate it to life's work. So I started learning about that around 2012, and then at that point I had a business already, which was a Tim Hortons, as you know.
Right.
And I was shocked. I was kind of devastated, to be honest, to not know what passion was, yet still be in a business that I've committed to for 20 years.
Wow, 20 years. Yeah.
20 years, yeah. And so after, being curious and investigating what passion means to me, or what passion means at all, I started to unfold it in different ways. And one of the, I'll talk about two things. One of them was, at the beginning stages, I remember being very, how do I say it? Being very closed-minded around passion. Although I thought I was open-minded, it came out as me being very closed-minded about what passion was. I really thought it had to be one direction, and it had to be a calling, and it had to be something that sets you on fire, and that's all it can be.
Right.
Yeah. And now it's switched over to curiosity.
Huh. That's interesting.
Yeah, because if I'm looking at passion, if I ask myself each day, what am I passionate about?
Right.
New things can surface, right? So there's no ceiling, there's no agenda to what my passion is.
Right.
My passion at the foundation level is helping people see themselves better than they do. And if I could put that in another word or other words, I would say helping people see what their loving power is. Right? Because once we see that, we see the world differently. And once we see the world differently, we change our world.
Absolutely. Do you think, and that's a great way of putting like what your passion is all about. Do you think people that want to start a business, or they're going into the direction of starting something on their own, do you think they get stuck in the process of really identifying what their passion is before they take that first step? Do you come across people like,
Not at all. I mean, no, I'm just kidding. Every single person.
right.
Every single person.
Yeah.
Because there's so much out there that says find your passion and you'll follow your heart and you'll get to do what you want. And it's just a lot of noise that I ran into myself as well. So that was confusing. And I'm not saying it's good or bad, but there's just too much information out there, and too much of anything can confuse us, right? Especially when we're starting out.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, like if you're not passionate about something, you don't do it. Because you can do it and you can be successful, but it becomes really exhausting because it's something that you're not really in love with. So it starts to look like a chore or seems like work.
Right.
And eventually it catches up to you. And that was, kind of the case with Tim Hortons.
So what I'm hearing you saying is that it's important to just take action, do something, and then perhaps you'll fall into what could be your passion, rather than just going out there and single-focusedly just searching for passion, and before you find your passion, not starting anything. Like, is that kind of what you're?
Yeah, that's a very valid point. I completely back that, because too many times we get stuck up in our head and we try to analyze what our passion is and we try searching it and finding it. And that really implies that it exists somewhere outside of us, right? You're searching it. Or find your passion. To me, when I hear find, it's like it already exists, so I have to find it. But passion on the very basic level for me is just like, what are you curious about, and what gets you excited? I love the question, what lights you up? I love that question. I love asking it because it gets people in a different mindset, and it also lights me up to hear about what comes out. And if somebody asks me that question, it's very easy to answer, because you just go internally and go, this is what lights me up.
Right.
So if I was to tell anyone, if somebody asks me, well, how can I find my passion, or how do I know what my passion is?
Right.
Because they're having a really hard time with it. Simplify it. Get it down to the basic, simple answer of what are you curious about in life, in a big scale, and what gets you really, really excited. And that will lead you to what you're passionate about. And as you take action, as you mentioned, because once you take action, you get new paths opening up. You start to see different opportunities, different steps, different views. And then you can start creating in a different way with something that really lights you up.
When I hear that word lights you up, it actually excites me. Because it's like,
absolutely.
Because the brain goes thinking about, what is it that lights me up, right? But there's also this part of me, either consciously or subconsciously, that kind of falls into fear. And the fear is, what lights me up? Can I really make a living out of what lights me up? Because I think a lot of people might just stop and think about, the things that really light me up, the things that really drive me. I don't know if I can create a business out of them. I don't know if I can make a living out of them. What would you say to people that might be stopped because of that fear?
To make a living out of your passion? Well, this might not be the greatest answer, like the most exciting or the most, sexy answer, if you want to call it that.
But I think that's what we need.
Yeah,
there's a lot of sexy answers.
There's a lot of sexy answers out there, for sure. But from what I've seen and continue to see, is that you can make money out of anything, right? So if you want to make it, if you want your passion to be monetary success or leading to make a living out of it,
Right.
all you need to do at that point is to get creative. Now that might take a little while, that might take some different paths as you go on your journey.
Right.
You're gonna make mistakes, but if you're passionate about it, it brings out this willingness, right? And once the willingness is there, for me personally as a coach, that's the only requirement I really look for in a client. After we've had some conversations, are they willing? Because if they're willing, then they will get to the next step or change or whatever they want to do. Like if they have an issue or challenge they're facing, if they have a dream they want to create, if they have a business they want to create or expand, willingness.
When you say willingness, do you mean perseverance or the willingness to change? How does that fit in?
Well, yeah, it can go either way. I mean, the perseverance to me, it comes with, keep going. That's perseverance to me. But the willingness is more internal. It's like, I'm willing. So let me put it this way. There's two things that I've seen recently in the coaching sessions I've had or conversations that I've had is out of inspiration or desperation. Things will change, right? And it's kind of always the case if you look at it that way. We wait till we're desperate. Most of us wait till we're desperate, and most of the time as well. And that's myself included on lower levels. I'll wait to do this or do that or whatever it is. Or you can be inspired to do what you want to do. Now, desperation is more to me as you're going to be pushed to do it. You're in a position now that you kind of have to change.
Right.
And that's going to be using your willpower. You're going to be more like pushing a car up a hill. So it can be exhausting. It can be disempowering, discouraging. On the other hand, if it's led by inspiration, you're almost getting pulled towards it, right? Because you're waking up and you have this inspiration to do whatever you've set out to do. You might not even know what the road looks like. You might not know how it's going to end up, but you're still inspired by it. And once you're inspired by it, you're willing to do it. If you're desperate, you're also willing, but it's a completely different willingness.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I always encourage people to go with what inspires you. And what I mean by that is not look for external things that inspire you, but what inspires you about yourself.
Right.
Because that makes things a little bit easier. If we're led by our own inspiration, whatever inspires us in life, we're more willing to take those steps, those actions. We're more willing to make mistakes. We're not in desperate situations. Makes sense?
Yeah, absolutely. It does make sense. And I mean, as I'm listening to your answers, I'm thinking about my own situation and thinking about desperation and inspiration. A lot of times people do come from a place of desperation because they have to make something happen. They have to have results in their life. So yeah, it's a great way to look at it, because if you're inspired, then you don't have to push a boulder up the hill.
Right.
You pretty much have it's something that's pulling you towards it. And in that way, even if you do face hardships, which you will in this journey, you're gonna keep going because the pull is just strong that way.
Exactly. Yes.
So that's what inspiration basically would be.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's also tied to the willingness, right? It's like I see a lot of steps being created. Like step 1 could be this, and step 2 could be that, and we can get this book, and it will lead us here, and hire this coach, and all of that is good. I'm not saying that's not good. Those are all even necessary at some point. But if we lead with that, we're almost leading with our brain. We're leading with an intellectual pathway. And personally, I think it's more powerful to lead from a creative space, which is your heart space, right? Lead from your spirit space, like what inspires you, and then unfold it that way. And in my own personal experience, I've done both. I've messed up on the other one and been like all intellectual, and it doesn't work out, I get exhausted. And now I ask myself, well, what really inspires me about what I want to create? Or what inspires me about this person that I'm working with? And so you turn the tables on yourself, and you are willing to do more than you thought you were willing to do, because you're led by inspiration.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think we can all learn from how to be driven by our inspiration. And I think it takes a little bit of letting go of the fear, because the fear can kind of keep you there and keep you in a place of desperation, if you will. And if you can let go of that, and that's a whole different topic about how to let go of fear, but I totally see what you're saying. So this kind of leads me into my next question, which would be, you know, you've been inspired by your work, and that's obvious. I can see it. I've seen you work with other people. What has your journey been like? You know, since the day you thought, okay, I've decided to go on this, and I want to do this, you know, for my life. What did that journey look like up until now, and what that journey may look like, you know, a few years down the line?
Yeah, I've had a complete, you know, blueprint plan, step by step. No, I'm just totally joking.
I was like, I know, Shenan, this can't be true. Right.
It's been confusing at times. It's been challenging, and if I'm going to talk about the coaching business that I've created now, what that has looked like when I started was full of doubt and fear. Right. So you might ask, well, why'd you do it then if it's full of doubt and fear?
Right.
Because I was so inspired by what coaching creates, and you know, you can talk about any business. I'm going to talk about coaching because that's what I do.
Sure.
But I've just seen how coaching can transform people's lives. It's forward moving. It's helping them see different parts of themselves. It's waking them up to their own power.
Right.
And it's quite honestly miraculous because conversations change lives. And so that kept me going in the beginning. And I was confused in carving my path.
Right.
At the beginning, I started off in 2014, and it was you know, me trying to coach entrepreneurs that are in franchise restaurants because of my background.
Sure.
And 3 months into that, I was coming home exhausted. I was not feeling inspired, and I was asking myself, well, why is that? And the answer was because I was still talking about numbers and franchise, and you know, so it didn't inspire me. So that led me to go, well, let me see how I can adjust this, because really it wasn't fun. That's what it comes down to.
Sure.
And in the last, I'd say in the last couple of years, I've really got clear on what I value in life.
Okay.
And my number one value is fun. It's nothing else. It's not, you know, it's not some big thing that you think is so very sophisticated and intelligent. Right. It's fun. Sure. Because for me, fun brings out different parts of you. It keeps you activated. It keeps you inspired. It's got, you know, you bring humor to life.
Okay.
It's light-hearted fun.
It keeps you wrinkle-free.
Keeps you wrinkle-free. And so I started adjusting it towards what is pulling me. So I've read books and I've hired coaches, and they've helped me get clear on that. Right. And I started to look at what inspires me. Again, just leading back to what we talked about is what inspires me. And that came to me answering it as, well, what inspires me is people that are working for something bigger than themselves. What inspires me is people that are working towards the betterment of the planet. Right. So you combine those two. What inspires me is somebody who's really willing to see what they're capable of doing. You know, with support and with no plan, are they willing? Yeah. And that's kind of when the magic happens, right? So when I see those and start combining those, that's when it started moving into having transformational conversations with people. And then from then, I got into doing that more and more. So when I was, I'd say about 80% clear, because I really don't believe we can be 100% clear on anything, and it'll take our whole life to wait for that.
Even then, we might.
Even then, yeah. We're always evolving, and every day will bring you different thoughts and different doubts and fears and whatnot. So when I was 80% clear, I started taking action. And now it wasn't about what inspires me anymore. I defined that roughly what it is. Hey, this lights me up. What that person's doing, that inspires the hell out of me. I can't wait to talk to this person. You know? And so I started taking action and just having conversations with people. And that led to me just being of service. Right? So there came a difference there when it wasn't. It was about me going out and serving people because I'm inspired by them.
Right.
It's not about building the business.
Mm-hmm.
It is, but that's not the primary focus, right? That just becomes a byproduct. And you pay attention to that as you do for any business, but something that leads me is just serving this person and seeing them light up, having them get an insight about their world and seeing it differently. And that's it. And then you keep doing it and doing it and doing it, and you keep adjusting and you pull back and you reflect and you do it again. Yeah.
That's awesome. And how about, I'm sure you face challenges and difficulties as you were starting this business. You know, one thing that comes to my mind is, in terms of the business, sure, you want to feel inspired, you want to have fun while doing it, but the challenges would be like, you know, just getting enough clients or rejection. How did you perhaps deal with rejection? Facing people for the first time, and I know your desire is to help others, but people may not be able to see that just in the beginning, and your own confidence may be lacking at that initial level. How did you overcome those things? How did you, you know, kind of make your business more concrete as you kind of went along?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I faced all of those, and I, you know, feel this tug of, oh, I'm stepping into something that's uncomfortable for me. It's unknown. Right. It's the zone that I haven't explored, right. And I'm going to make mistakes. I might fumble, whatever that is.
Right.
How I handled rejection, I didn't make it about me.
Okay.
Right, that's the number one thing, and it's a hard thing for some people. For me, it was. For some people, it's easier. Right. For me, it was like, oh, I don't want to hear no's. Like when you hear people going, you've served them so powerfully, and then they don't sign up.
Right.
And you start getting into this expectation zone, and you hear a no, and then you hear a no, and you hear a no, and you're thinking about your business, and you don't, you know, is it gonna happen?
Going from inspiration to desperation.
Yes, exactly. So to switch that, to turn the tides on it, you focus on serving the client, and you don't make it about yourself. It's only when we start thinking about ourselves that we start to contract, right? Our minds start to contract because it's me. It's my business. I'm not getting clients. I'm not getting paid. Me, I. And all of a sudden, I'm not serving anymore.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going into this conversation really needy.
Right.
And so putting my energy, my focus, my attention on the person in front of me and just serving them, extremely powerful, and not holding back in serving them. And doing that one after another, things started to happen, because when they feel it, when they see a shift, when they see that this is something they want to continue, it's perfect. Right. And at the end of the conversation, when they don't want to continue, that's also perfect. And the reason is because it's not about me, right? A coach that I know he told me about a really cool way of looking at a no. Okay. Right? It's an abbreviation, he says. Yeah. No means next one, and O. Okay. And for me, for some reason, I just heard that in a really deep way, and I went, well, that's absolutely perfect, because it complements not making it about you. Right? So you move on to the next one, send them your love and all the best wishes, and it's perfect, because if you've served them so powerfully that they don't need you anymore, that's great. They've been served, and they're going to move on to whatever they're doing. And they might come back, they might refer somebody to you, whatever that looks like. You don't hang on to it. You move on to the next one. The second thing you asked about confidence, that was a good one, right? Because I always believed that you have to be confident the way you show up. And I've learned that it's kind of a place, and again, the same coach actually helped me with this, was it's a place that you come from. Sorry, it's a place, it's a result, it's not a requirement. Okay. Right? It's a confidence is a result.
Confidence is a result.
It's not a requirement. Now, of course, there's different situations, and you might need confidence before you go. Something like skydiving, you might want it before, or go swimming with the great white sharks. But in terms of business, I know for coaching business, but even other businesses, if you want to take action, you will see that you become confident after you take the action. Because you'll start to see and unfold different ways of doing things, different ways of showing up. You will see your capability only when you play, right? if you're only thinking about it, you don't get to see it. So yeah, confidence is a result, not a requirement. And that was a really mind-shifting thing for me that helped me move along, take more action, and keep making it about the person in front of me.
Awesome, man, awesome. And you know, like from what I'm hearing, to reiterate, because it's going through my own mind, rejection loses its power when it's really about serving the other. Like when
Absolutely.
you're really in the service mode, then rejection doesn't seem like rejection, because maybe their journey with you was only till that far. You serve them, and then they can go on to whatever makes more sense for them next.
Exactly,
So
yes.
I think that's a really powerful way of looking at it. And also with confidence, the fact that confidence is a result of action, not a requirement, makes a lot of sense, because I truly believe myself that action is what will get you to results, confidence, and all the things you need to stack up so that you can take even more massive action.
Exactly.
So I totally see that, completely agree with you. So I guess my last question to you, Shenan, would be, you know, someone watching this, right, thinking about maybe he or she wants to be a coach. Maybe they want to get into, you know, the transformation business, the human development business. What advice would you give someone that is perhaps at the verge of, like, you know, letting go of their past career and then embarking on this wonderful journey? What advice would you give them that would give them the courage today, the courage, the inspiration, whatever you want to call it today, to take that leap and go into it, you know, and kind of realize their dreams?
Yeah, good question. And I'll say this about entrepreneurship.
Right.
And a lot of people don't like it when I say this, but entrepreneurship is not for everyone.
Right.
And the reason I say that is because when you are working for somebody else, you are motivated by the paycheck that you get. That's your motivation. You don't need motivation. That's your motivation.
Right.
And your discipline is also, it comes from your work environment.
Right.
They have systems in place. They have, you know, this is when you should be at work and this is when you can get off. And the discipline is set out by what they are having you do.
Right.
So it's a good thing. It's an easier thing.
Right.
And if somebody is not willing to get away from that and develop their own system around that, it's going to make it very difficult.
Okay.
With entrepreneurship, you have to be your own motivation, right? You got to find something that motivates you every single day. It doesn't matter if you're sick or feeling like shit, whatever that is.
Right.
And same with discipline. You have to discipline yourself to get to where you want to be. It's difficult because you're fumbling with what inspires you. You're adjusting your business. You're looking for what kind of clients you want to serve, and you're getting rejected.
Yes.
You know, you don't have the confidence, and now you have to discipline yourself.
Okay.
So that's my first point: is entrepreneurship truly? I don't believe it's for everyone. To the second part of your question, if you want to get into it, and once you've decided that you want to do it, this is something I did not do, and I do not recommend it.
Okay.
I went full on to coaching, and it's so much more difficult. You know, ease into it. If you have the part-time job, you start part-time coaching, and see how you can balance the two, and to move over to the coaching side eventually. Biggest reason for that, you're not going to show up needy in your life.
That's right.
Right, because you've handled your where you're getting your money from.
You have a safety net.
You have a safety net, exactly. So now you're going out there and you're just serving people because you're passionate about it and you're okay doing that. You're okay being rejected too. So that's what I would say about making the transition. You know, make it so that you are doing it in a very intelligent way.
Right.
The third thing, if you want to get into a coaching business, the best way I've seen it is to get coached, right? If you want to coach people, get a coach. Because if you want people to believe that coaching is very useful and you are going to coach somebody and help them transform their lives, and you don't have a coach, that doesn't say much about you, right? It's like a doctor having no doctor. That's a good example from a coach I heard as well. And there's so many avenues to it. See, coaching is such a creative place. It's a creative business.
Yes.
So read all the articles, read the books, talk to people, get coached, and then go out there and coach people. Right. And a lot of the times I think we believe that we need to get a certain amount of knowledge or we need to be at a certain position before we can go out and take action.
Yes, absolutely.
I found that not to be true, because if you're going to go out and coach, that's the only way to get better. You can't get better by being coached. You can go deeper into yourself by being coached.
Right.
You can get more grounded into your own self. But you can't become a better coach. I think the only way to do that is to go out there and coach. And you're going to make mistakes, and you're not going to be the best coach that you think you are. You're not going to be a great coach. You might be a good coach. But if you're coming really, truly from a place of love and service, you are going to help them.
Right.
And as you help them, you'll get better. And if you can coach 10, 20, 40 people, you will start to see similarities in people. You will start to see what you're good at. You'll start to get feedback and testimonials. And then you can start to, one, get confidence, right, as a result. And number two, you'll automatically start to become a better coach because you'll be coaching. So if you're asking for advice, my advice would be go and do it slowly. There's a dance between doing and being and doing and being, and kind of just listening to that feeling going, well, you know, it's time to do, so I'm going to go and coach others. And now it's time to be. I'm going to get coached. I'm going to reflect on what I've done and see how I can adjust it. Is it fun for me? Is this inspiring to me? Is that inspiring to me? So always dancing between all of those, but taking continuous action, because at the end of the day, life is moving forward, and so should we.
Right, absolutely. So it's like, so kind of to put it all together and wrap it up, it's about having a safety net, educating yourself, going out there and getting a coach so that you can educate yourself experientially, and then consistent action and being persistent about it, and every day going out there taking the action.
Absolutely, yes. All of that continuously, and you know, get yourself into an environment where there's people in the same business that support each other, because entrepreneurship is a lonely life, right? We get in our heads a lot.
Absolutely.
And so it's important to have similar people in similar businesses, if not the same.
Absolutely.
Then you can bounce things off each other, you can support each other, and as far as, you know, I've talked about coaching so much, I just want to expand it a little bit and go, if it's not about a coaching business, if it's any other business, I still think mentoring, getting a mentor, is invaluable. It's more valuable than any book that you can read or any article that you read. Not to take anything away from that, but a book is a book. You can't really, if you don't understand something, well, you turn the page. You really can't ask the question there, right? With a mentor and a coach, it's different. You can get into a conversation and go deep with them and start to see things differently. So
I completely agree. You know, this it was such an informative and transformative conversation that we had, Shenan. So I really want to thank you for coming here, you know, taking some time to sit down with me and answer these few questions. I'm sure my audience got some really good value from it. So thank you for
I hope so, and thank you very much for inviting me. It was fun.
Absolutely. I hope you got the value from this. I definitely did. I enjoyed these conversations, and if you have any questions or comments, please do put them down just below the video. And I'm going to put the information of Shenan if you want to reach him, if you want to find out more about what he does, how he does it. I'm going to put the information out in the description box so you can go have a look at it. You know, it's all about really taking action when you feel that your calling is out there and passion is calling you. It's all about persistent action. I believe that. The people that I bring here believe that. So I hope you go out there and make the type of action that you believe will get you the kind of results you want. I hope you got the value from it. Until I see you again next time, have a great one, my friend.